Hello, everyone, and welcome to this SPK Associates video entitled Modern Test Management for Regulated Industry Software Teams. I'm Michael Roberts, Vice President of Sales and Marketing for SPK Associates, and today we're going to talk about a topic that's top of mind for many life sciences, medical device, aerospace, automotive, and other regulated industry software teams, and that's modern test management. As regulatory expectations grow and software teams are becoming, more central to the product, teams are really under pressure to deliver quality faster than they ever have before, while still maintaining all the compliance and traceability. And that's a really hard balancing act, and it's not easy. And especially it makes it even harder when you have outdated test management approaches, and that really often becomes a bottleneck. So today we're going to explore what modern test management looks like. And I'm joined by Chris from Appsvio, the CEO. So, Chris, please feel free to introduce yourself.
Hi, first of all, thank you for the invitation. My name is Chris and the CEO of the Appsvio. I'm in the Atlassian ecosystem for 12, 13 years, something like that.
Long time.
Yeah, it's a very long time. So it's super interesting how the ecosystem evolved. Um, yeah, I'm super happy to talk about test management in the regulated industries with you.
Awesome. So, Chris, I wanted to dive in here. So, for regulated software teams, what capabilities do you think are most critical to have a more modern test management approach, and how do those capabilities help teams move faster without compromising all the compliance requirements they have?
Yeah. I see four areas regarding the regulated mm, test management or test management in the regulated industries. However, the regular teams can also benefit from all the stuff that I will mention. So it's I believe for everyone. The first step, and I think the most critical part, are the requirements, as this is, or it should be the starting point of everything, traceability, coverage, basically everything. So having requirements defined, it's the first step. Um, and the question is where they are defined. So I think the Jira is a great spot because it's a place where we also have the other testing objects tools when we have the developer tasks and also where the business is, where the business works on the issues. So Jira is a perfect place for the test management. So once we have the requirements defined, uh, the second thing I found the most critical thing is the test object governance, and this is mm, it contains a few information or a few ideas. The standardization. So when you create a new test case or new requirement or even defect, it should be formatted in the correct way. It should be created with the proper information. So standardization, object lifecycle, it's another thing. So who can create the requirement, who can edit requirements, who can approve the test case, etc. So it's more regarding permissions to testing objects. Um, Separation of duties is another thing. It's a very important. Sometimes it's implemented as a feature in the testing software tools. And the example is that the creator of the test case can't execute this test case. And there are many other examples for the separation of duties. Another thing is history of changes. It's a must-have because it will be, useful during the audits when you change the status of uh, test case or whatever object in Jira. This information is stored, is recorded on the Atlassian side, so there's a direct information who changed what. Um, I put also the data resilience in this group because data center is no longer, an option, at least for now. So knowing where the data are stored, who has access to this data is very, very important.
Yeah,
The third, yeah,
go ahead. I'm
I have
sorry, go
two.
ahead.
Yeah, two more are um, critical for the regulated industries. It's also the um, risk-based test planning, so you can define what should be tested. You could select test cases um, that are linked to the area that change. So we don't test everything. We test only what is needed. And the last thing is the end-to-end traceability matrix. So um, mm, uh, having this kind of report, we can see what is the result, or it's more about answer to the question what requirements has been tested, or even more important, what requirements haven't been tested yet, and what is the status of those tests. So there's a lot, I know, but I think this is the basics for the regulated companies.
For sure, yeah. Especially all the and you mentioned it in your answers, the audit components, right? Like it's one thing to do all this stuff up front, and if you don't do that, the reality is you're running around come audit time trying to find all these things. So
Yeah.
you're right. It is a lot, but I think it's really important to have that structure. So, and you mentioned the Atlassian ecosystem and Jira. So, and I'll use Jira as an example, although it's not the only one, but.
Mhm.
We live in an ecosystem where Jira is the center of the requirements world and has everything. So how should test management tools integrate with Jira to improve visibility and the decision making across development and quality and regulatory stakeholders?
Mhm. Very good question. So we all know that the software teams and business teams works together on Jira, right? So it's a natural way to have also test objects on the same platform. And there's so many benefits of this approach, like transparency, access to everything by anyone who needs this type of information. There is a one control point, like one place where you can set up the permissions to different kind of projects or testing objects. And there's one thing that I need to mention here, that there are two schools or two approaches with the test management. So the one school is that test objects are the GI issues, and there's a lot of benefits of using this approach. And the second approach is that the testing objects are separate issues, separate objects. And on the marketplace, we have example of both approaches. For example, the Zephyr represents the second one. They have the separate objects, while the X-ray or our own ATM, we are based on the GI issues. And there's so many benefits, like using jQuery, using dashboard gadgets to prepare some basic reports, history changes, right, which we mentioned, Jira linking to link requirements with test cases or even with the test executions. So every benefit that we have in Jira, then we could implement in the test management.
Which I think is a whole nother benefit, building on the platform, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
using Jira as the foundation.
yeah.
And so now twisting from a why or how, but now the what measurable outcomes do people get? So what are the things that software teams and regulated industries typically see when they're modernizing to, as you mentioned, even the your version of test management? What do they get out of modernizing it as a part of their software delivery lifecycle?
Yeah, I love that question. Um, in short, faster releases and less manual work, but let's break it down. So I think the most important is quick validation. So if you when you have the requirements, right, and when you have the executions, you need to do some job, like to create the metrics or traceability matrix to see whether your requirements are covered, whether the requirements were tested, right? And if you have the paper version of the requirements, imagine. Uh, how long the traceability matrix could takes
Sure.
time
Yeah.
to prepare. And if you have this in a one tool together, then it's done in seconds. So quick validation is definitely the huge value for the software teams. Um, Another benefit is smaller testing scope. Once you use the test plans or any other kind of grouping of test cases, um, and also including the risk-based testing. So when you have the requirement, then you can, assign the risk, assign the impact for the requirement, and based on this information, you can select which test cases should be tested. So this also impact on how many work you have to do before you release the product, right? So um, at the end, we test only what is needed, only the areas which which were changed during the development. Um, the the release is at the higher quality, also because you have a very clear path how to report the defects. Um, uh, only the area of product that have been changed were tested. So this also narrow down the mm, the scope of the application that is going to be tested. Audit is no longer um, requires some additional work, maybe not in all cases, but in most cases, when you change something in those tools, it's recorded, so it's a very easy access to this information, who changed
Right.
what. So during the audit, you can just, give the auditor access to your Jira and tell, okay, this is the project where we have tests. So just you can take a look, who changed what, and there's no additional work you have to do, right? And also automated tests, which are, super valuable part of the test management party. And I think in the future it will get more and more attention, and also it will be more important for the software teams. So together with the manual test, it will create a very good foundation for test management for the regulated industries.
And did you say test management party?
Yeah,
Can we
yeah,
coin that term?
like
Can we coin that?
yeah, I think for many testers, of course, it's a work that someone needs to do, but test management part is, from my understanding, is everything that is included in test management, like processes, tools, and if you use the good tool, the nice tool, the easy tool, then why not to call it party, right?
Especially when it makes your life easier. Like
Yeah,
I'm all for
yeah,
that. I'm all for that.
yeah, exactly.
So, Chris, thanks for hanging out and sharing your perspective on the whole regulated industry and modernization around test management. So, I think it's pretty clear from what you've shared today that it's not just about testing; it's about testing better and doing it in a more efficient and quicker way. And obviously, people want the outcomes that you mentioned in terms of being able to deliver quicker and a higher quality product. So, that's kind of a no-brainer. As teams in regulated industries are trying to modernize, they're looking for help with these types of decisions and how to move in the right direction and get more visibility and better traceability and stronger decision making. If you're watching this and thinking that you need to improve your test management and in your own environment, our team at SPK and Associates, we work with organizations like yours to design compliant, scalable software delivery ecosystems, including the Appsvio test management suite in the Atlassian ecosystem. If you're interested in learning more about these tools, these suites, we'll include some links in the description, especially for the Appsvio test management tool for Jira. And you can actually create a trial inside of your own Atlassian ecosystem to try it on your own. So you can also reach out to SPK. Our links are in our description for our socials and our website if you're interested in learning more about SPK. If you like this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the SPK and Associates YouTube channel for more similar content like this. Chris, again, thank you for joining. Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.